Welcome to some Mookie Schmookie, and yes, this is editing decks because I just, played a little bit and got a few wins in a row, and the last one was particularly hilarious because there were some really insane things in there, so you just see the first two wins that I had, and then this absolute beast happened. Now, if you prepare a run, if you're looking for something specific, if you want to break the game, that is a whole different level of absurd that we don't reach here. However, for a normal run where you just play the game, we have so much absurd damage because of the right encounters at the right moment that it's just crazy. So let's talk about the run. We had a normal dagger start. When I get that, I usually like to go to level 2. It makes the rares more likely to appear. The nugget that we got is a rare. The brass knife is a rare. And you earn a lot of money. So now we actually have to wait for the fights and earn, well, a ton of money. Now, as you can see, the enemy has a lot of HP, which is nice because that means our nugget will give us, I think, 18 gold, if I'm not mistaken. Could be 21 though, because it's a bit later. But this time it's not just a nugget. Yeah, it was 18. Okay, so typical thing, I think I will actually level up again, if I'm not mistaken. I may be hesitant because I want to roll and find stuff, but there we just find stuff. And I, as a commentary decks, will now talk a little bit more about my decisions. And one thing there that I think I should have done different is going for the nugget. Now, early on, it's very difficult what you encounter, Later on, when you have your build set and you counter most of the enemies, it's very easy to determine what to do, like what to put in. But here it was nugget versus brass knife. And in general, I prefer to go for the brass knife if I just want to win, if it's not for video where I want to go crazy. Because it's a guaranteed 15 gold, but the nugget would have earned us a lot more money. Okay, so here, a horrible encounter. I was hesitating between the vials, because they may have cooldown, or just going for armor, because it extends the fights, which is quite nice. And we got really lucky, because I got the upgraded dagger, so now instead of 15 gold times 2, which is 30, we'll earn 36. Which, if you think about it, is not that much better. But if we get into a short fight that is over very early, then this one will earn way more, because it starts very high. Actually, doesn't it earn less? It starts with 8, the two individual 1-star are 10. But then it catches up quickly, I guess. So here we are facing a bleed build. This is what I mentioned, like for day 3, I believe, where I said, hey, sometimes there are debuff builds, they'll take on you and destroy you. This was a case like that. And yeah, as usual, I pick up my moon knives. Usually I also pick up the shield, but now we encounter a lost fragment. That means, dude, we are farming gold like crazy. One issue I have is with gold builds, and that is not really an issue of gold builds, but an issue of decks. I always want to make something happen when I encounter gold builds. Like, I want to have fun, I want to have a long run, I want to do something ridiculous. However, if I don't find something, then it quickly turns into panic mode decks, or rather into disparity decks, or rather into I don't know what I'm doing decks. That I keep just going without having anything that I can do, and then I lose. Now here we have the Elven encounter. Usually when I get this, I always turn my nugget into Elven. One fun thing I've started doing is the moon knife, because there are many ways how to make that amazing. But in general, generally speaking, the nugget, when you already have it, insane. We also have the Midas Diary, so the nugget will give us gold, a ton of armor, and the Midas Diary will earn money alongside with the daggers that we have there. Though one thing should be said, the daggers attack very slowly, so it's usually actually better to go for different daggers if you really want to. However, the other daggers, they don't earn you money on their own, so you really need a long fight to make that worth it. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, the Elven Orb, right. If we found the Elven Orb here, this game would have been utterly insane, like completely broken, because the earlier you start stacking that, the better the game will be. Because one issue you have is, number 1, you need to get the Elven Orb going. Number 2, you need to get the cooldown going and finished. And if we started the Elven Orb here, this would have been crazy, because even if it has like 4 or 5 triggers, the moment we get the cooldown, we can just immediately put the cooldown on, since each additional trigger that we get is not that valuable, but getting down to minimum cooldown is insanely valuable. So here we got our first upgrade, day 7, insanely late. So this is actually a good example. Like, what is the difference between a decks video when I make a video on something? Like, not what's special about me, the decks, but rather what's special about, or the difference between when does a run turn into a video. So first of all, I need a plan, like what I even want to achieve. I don't just randomly run that usually. The second thing is, it needs to be absurdly lucky. So here, for example, on day 4, day 5, that we did, no wait, day 6 is Elven. But yeah, day 5, day 6 that we didn't find Elven, this would have usually just been a reset, if I want to do it for video. Now here we start scaling our shield, and this is a perfect fight, because, okay, the issue is they have scaling in there with a ton of shots, so it's actually not that perfect, but it's a slow fight. Like some of these fights, they are way faster done. However, I have 10k HP and that's the only reason why this fight lasts so long, because I power leveled. And leveling is a very good way to get a few cheated wins in that you shouldn't have gotten, but the enemy just doesn't have enough damage to take you down. And when the burning starts, like the enemy has 2000 HP, you have 5000 left, then the enemy will die before you. Now we are unlucky, because we only have 2 lives left, and one thing we need to do is cooldown, the other thing we need to do is multicast. So we are far behind. And at this point, if we wouldn't have the multicast, maybe it would be okay. I don't really think so. Are we done with the cooldown? Really? I thought the nugget needed cooldown, but I guess not. Yeah, but like, okay, then it's actually fine, but only if we find the Elven Orb, and there it is. However, this is a last resort moment. The Elven Orb takes like 13 seconds to trigger, so there's a good chance that we just fail doing this. And I gamble here because I could have given the rock already multicast, just that it gives us more armor and we have a better chance to survive. But I decided to go for money, because an alternative way how you can do it is you just slot in things afterwards with the money that you earn that wins you the game. And here we luckily, super luckily, have an absurdly long fight that we'll definitely win. I don't think the damage increase on the, what's it called, redemption, the hammer, whenever you heal it gets damage and healing, is enough to deal with us, like by far not. But the most important thing about this fight was, we got 5 multicast. Now here, very disappointing, nothing exciting, no Carmen, which would have been the best one, or even Nicholas, you know, to spin the wheel a little bit, get some multicast on certain things, like for example the debuff removal, because that is also a stain, like an issue. Because we want this to have like a lot of triggers, right? To remove debuffs. Some builds, they have burst in debuff, like for example the Venom Ring. If it has like 3 triggers, then suddenly you have a ton of poison on you. You want this to immediately be gone. You don't want to keep it on you. And in our case, well, we have to make use with what we have, so we use 3 slots on it right now, 2 in the near future. Because we still need some cooldown on it, to be fair, 1.6 seconds, you can argue you don't really need that, you could put a lost fragment below it instead as well. Here I really wanted to sell to get more money, because that book gives you income, which is very nice, like increasing your income helps you every day, even when you remove stuff. Now it's just 2 gold, but hey, that's 2 gold. So here we have a burn build. We're building up a lot of block, and do I spoiler that? I think I'll spoiler this. I was certain I'll win this fight. Why? We have 23k HP. We also heal, which helps once we lose HP, but I guess shield is the same thing. What I didn't notice is, look at their armor. It's scaling up, and we are still ahead, but the fire will take a while. And all of a sudden, yeah, the axes, they start scaling as well, and we just lost. I was so blown away by this. Like at this moment I thought I will win. So I have a loss there, a safety loss. And now we have max gold, so I can just scale up and look for something exciting. Maybe I wait for day 11, if we get the 3-star potion, do some shenanigans. But now we can't do that. Now we are on our final life and we need to find something what we do. And it's that boy. Now, here's the issue. That boy is very slow. Okay, it takes a long time to scale, but we have a lot of gold gain, so it's not the worst thing. It gets double the gold in damage right now, and when you upgrade it, that becomes better. I think right now it's like 4 times the amount or something, or 3 times the amount. I don't know exactly how it is, but you'll see it. There it is. 4 times the amount. And the purple level is also insane, because I think it's 6 times or 8 times. I don't think it was always doubled, but it gives you a bonus 2 gold whenever you trigger it. So here I sold what's it called? I sold the Jigamalik, the thing that you put on top, Nature's Call, that gives 2 multicast to put in the Lost Fragment. Because what I'm preparing for is very long fights where the enemy has like debuff or so, and it will also have more heal. Because the expectation is, since we have so much gold, we can deal with fast fights because we have the armor that we build up, you know, so we survive initial burst, not all of them, but you know, most of them that you'll find on day 10. It's still early in the game. But then if the fight goes longer, because there are a lot of shenanigan builds, then we will be able to deal with any sort of debuff that scales up over time. You know, some weapons on every single trigger, they will get more debuff, so you really need to deal with them. And for that, the Lost Fragment is way better, because you'll have a lot more than just 3 triggers, which the Nature Call had, you know, +2 is 3. And yeah, also we need to get the cooldown down. Here we have a difficult-ish fight. Whenever you see a Warhorn, you have to be cautious. Now in this case, it's not a big issue, but Warhorn combined with the amulet that multiplies crit damage is quite something. Here we have the Bishop. I'm hoping for something good. 2 cursed items, and that was it. That was it. However, we have the Elf Essence. Now usually this is something I only do if I wanna have like a super crazy run, you know, but here I'm thinking, listen mate, the fights take very long, we are scaling. Well, there are 2 possibilities, okay? So remember what I said before. Why do we use the Lost Fragment on the cross? Well, if we get into a really long fight, then we have an ability to remove stacking debuffs. The same story, however, is with the Elvish Orb, with the benefit, it's permanent, however it's more dangerous because it takes 13 seconds to pop off. So my goal here was, I really wanted to triple this, that the moment it pops off, we have 3 triggers. So even though we may lose some life to, for example, fast stacking poison, the moment it has multiple triggers, it will deal with that, and then we will also gain healing, which is not that much, but again, it's just for the poison. For squishy builds, we expect that our main weapon will just blast them away, so I'm not all too concerned about them before you say, oh, Dex, but strong builds, they build up so fast and they'll destroy you. But yeah, but for this we have a 1.7k damage weapon, right? And we reduce the cooldown. It's like I don't know what it is right now, but it's low. There we go. I don't even know what I want to do at this point, really. I mean, I want to do the Elven Potion, like I have a second one, so I was debating. Like, I wanted to give it Lost Fragment at first, but we can't mess around. If we could mess around, I would give Lost Fragment cooldown, and then the Elvish Orb that it multi-triggers, so after 1 second it gives like 3, 4, 5 multicast to the item above. Which is insanely good. But instead I decided I'll just turn our main weapon Elven, let's not mess around, let's not mess this up, and I also want to have the Elven Orb on the final level, because that means we only need 26 seconds to give it +9 multicast, which is pretty much permanent. Not like, you know, fully permanent, but pretty much. And, of course, I don't just talk about all of this for no reason, there is a reason behind that, and it's the upcoming fight. Now, when I saw this, I pooped my pants. I'll be completely honest, I thought I will 100% lose this fight. We wouldn't have this video if I would have lost this fight, so I don't think it's a spoiler. But do you see the skyrocketing damage of the weapon? Isn't that completely nuts? My eyes were so glued on the enemy armor, but not just when it goes down, because you also need to defeat them before you burn up. No way. But no way. Holy moly. Yeah, I'll not have another fight that lasted long. I got a feeling in my guts. Okay. I mean, there's one thing I can do. But that will be impossible to find. I need crit, is what I'm looking for. Oh, I missed it. What was the triple? I missed the triple. I mean, it would only be a problem if we have an insanely long fight again. Come on. One upgrade is enough. Like, it's so rare at this point, I'm not gonna look for more of them. This is 10% multiplied by however much we have here. Almost as if I knew it, huh? Isn't that interesting? I mean, I didn't know it, but it's kind of cool that it happened twice. Wait, that's actually so insane. Holy moly, I think I gotta put this on YouTube. I didn't intend to, but yeah. It's like, I don't really have a choice. I mean, we don't need more. Like, come on, we have more than enough. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, you know, like, right, there's no way we lose this. The only way I could have improved this is actually, I could have gotten the item that multiplies the crit damage, like when you crit, how much damage you deal. I didn't think about that because I didn't intend to even go for crit. Yeah, we have no chance against that. Well, let's go. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Wow. But imagine our crits were 5 times right now instead of just 2 times. Just 2 times, huh? Like with the base damage of 12,000, just 2 times. But yeah. Decent chunk of damage. I guess I gotta edit record as Dex. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, give the video a like. See you all next time.